War is the most technologically advanced thing human beings do. War is also the most profitable business human beings do. Not all human beings. Guys like us get thrown into the maelstrom of bullets. The trillionaire oligarch class. The trillionaire oligarch class make their money from manufacturing the weapons, blowing everything up, going in, stealing resources. Then they build the countries they've just blown up. The money to rebuild the countries. So it's a great way of making dough, isn't it? If you are a demonic ghoul with a black heart, that's kind of what they are, isn't it? So I spoke to some of the activists earlier on. The University of Glasgow, like all universities in the UK, is a hunting ground for the British state and the British security services. They have professors and senior management in these organisations that work for the brightest of the bright. Then they try to push them into jobs with Raytheon, BAE systems and all that type of stuff. Years ago, one of my friends, he was dyslexic, but he was a mathematical genius. He did aeronautical engineering in there, and in his final year he got the highest mark in the year for maths and physics. His professor took him to one side and introduced him to a representative of BAE Systems. Now my mate who loved reggae music and making things, the guy was a genius. He was as good with his hands as he was with his brain. His comment to me, always resonated in my nut, was I would rather design blades for wind turbines than design aerofoils for a weapons manufacturer. So the guys are trying to convince Glasgow University to divest from taking investments from weapons manufacturers and being involved in the weapons industry. Unfortunately for the students, the UK's economy, they're bankrupt. There is no other way of looking at it. You just have to look at the current Labour government to know if you start taking money off pensioners to pay for weapons to go to Ukraine and all that malarkey, there's a darkness and some core evilness at the root of the British government. So what the young team, the very noble students, don't realise is all that the UK has left is selling cappuccinos, insurance and weapons manufacturing. A lot of my videos are about the heritage of Glasgow's industry and stuff like that. It could be argued that Glasgow boomed in steel manufacturing and shipbuilding most when there was a global conflict that the oligarchs, the trillionaire class, could make money out of. It could be argued that, couldn't it? There's lots of different ways of slicing a cake, isn't there? But certainly during World War II, the shipbuilding output from the River Clyde was nothing short of astonishing. It was boom time. Boom, war, boom. There's a joke in there someplace if you look deep enough. Anyway, good luck to these people trying to get a business that depends on the British government and weapons manufacturers as it's raison d'etre. I think what they're doing is noble. However, if I was them, I think I would be doing this outside Labour MPs' offices as opposed to sitting in a field. There's not really any threat. When I say threat, I don't mean in a violent way. I never ever condone violence. I'm a pretty pacifist by nature. However, you see these massive rallies in London, 50,000 people turn up in Hyde Park or Trafalgar Square or whatever. They wave their flags about, then they go home. Wouldn't it be more sensible if after they waved their flags about, they went and had a sit-down protest outside of Whitehall or some MPs, the Prime Minister's place? Right. Anyway, I'm going to hang up. I think, has that saddened me? It could also be argued that the reason I'm sitting in a van and we have jet airliners is because of wars and that type of thing, but I think naturally a lot of the war-driven developments in our history would have happened anyway, because to get planes to fly further for less fuel, a more efficient engine was needed. There you go, you've got your red currants, your blackberries. Started getting on about turbines as well, bit of anti-war stuff. I'll hang up in that. I could rant for hours about the darkness, the sickness that's at the heart of the British government, you know. And as a guy who supports my country governing itself, where are the Scottish MPs? They back the SNP. I've seen John Swinney backing the Brit wars in Ukraine. Think about that from some level of absolute ill-informed insanity. Faslane and Coolport are 25 miles away from us, and the SNP are backing Keir Starmer, thinking that it can attack Russia. There's some bad news for they guys. Russia's won. Trump is not negotiating a ceasefire. Trump has been given surrender documents, and the Russians will not negotiate anything. Why would they? Here's an analogy for you. If a 400-kilogram bear has just pinned you to the ground after ripping both your legs off one of your arms and is about to swipe its big claws across your face, you don't say, "Hey, Mr. Bear, let's negotiate." Trump's got no cards in that game. He can't negotiate. Anyway, wars, jet engines, blackcurrant bushes. It's all going down old Zamdog television. Thank you all for watching.